day. We're not where we should be at all. I mean, it's coming up a little by little, but nowhere near where we should be. And I'm sure you folks know better than anyone. And again, I just want to make sure that number gets up as we go through the show. That you know that we have that. When do we have that thing that Mary puts up there and can show where the number is, right? What's your numbers there? If I can see.
Yeah, the local hotline is 860-437-7766.
Yeah, that's good. And I want to make sure that any of our listeners can write down your address and get it so that they're aware that there is help here. And I've been here 7, 8 years. I guess I've been here 8 years. I didn't know you were here.
Right.
You know, I mean, and I'm active in a tremendous amount of things, in courts, in everything else like that. And I did not know the center was here. That you were you're down the street from me. Well, you may have known, but
part of it too is the confidentiality piece, because we honor our clients' privacy in such a way that if we want to make sure that they're
protected.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, I understand. I understand that. Okay, but it would be just off the top of my head. Okay, if you needed food, I know where to send you. If you need housing, I know where to send you. If you need, okay, there's a multiple of issues because of
or if you're a victim of domestic violence, you know where to send them.
I know where to send you.
Right.
If you have a rape situation, I wouldn't have known. I would have known what to do, but personally, I wouldn't have been able to say, "Oh, this is where you go." Okay, and that to me says a lot because of my own involvement in the community, which says that not your fault, that the voice is not out there enough, and that people aren't informed enough, including me.
Well, you know, it's that type of thing that unless you need the service, you don't seek it out because of that. You know, you're not being so uncomfortable and being such a, you know, sexual assault has such stigma about it that it's not a you know, pleasant topic. So many times, I mean, our agency has been in existence since 1974. So we've been around for a long time, and even in our Willimantic office, people say, "I didn't know you were here," and we've been there for years and years. So it's one of those things that unless you need it, you don't want to really look for it.
I think the way I ran into probably your agency, that I don't remember who it was, is a family member was sexually abused, and we ended up at Bacchus Hospital, and this, you know, we're going back 20 years, and again, part of the trauma isn't necessarily just the rape or the sexual assault, the incest, or whatever it is, but the aftermath after it. And I still have trauma watching this, you know, 5-year-old having to go through a rape kit process with a doctor whose hands were this fatty, pudgy, you know, and cops male cops in uniform, and that child having to be in there alone without any family member.
That's traumatic. Well, the process has changed a little bit. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how that happens now.
Since I work with children, typically what happens now, if a child discloses sexual abuse, the DCF will be called, and they'll come to the house. They won't interview that child at that point. They will either go to an area in Windham County or an area in New London County that's specifically geared to having a forensic child interview where the child is in a very child-friendly environment. An advocate such as ourselves are there to support the family as well as the child, to kind of walk them through what can happen, what they're gonna, the process of that. And then they'll be in an interview room with a clinician, and the police will be in a separate room ensuring that the videotape is working and that they're viewing that for further evidence as the case progresses. If the child discloses, then that will go into evidence and then can be admissible at a later time when the court process is occurring. And then we offer our services to the family, any secondary members of the abuse. Maybe there's other children in the family that knew that it was going on, or maybe they were affected as well in a myriad of ways. And then we support the parents and the primary caregivers in our agency too, and that's very, very helpful for them. We continue collaborating with DCF as well as the police to make sure that this family still continue to be served, so they understand what's going on, you know, what's going to happen next, so they're not left in the dark. And then when it comes to the court process, we're also there to support the family. Again, we attend court sessions with them. We're there for the sentencing often, and then at any time if they need any other services that we can connect them to the community, or if they need additional counseling, the door is always open at our agency. So.
Now, do you work with offenders as well, since many offenders are also victims?
We do not. We don't have the services available. We definitely have a referral system where we can direct people to those areas, because sometimes children in an environment in the family, they might be sexually reactive, which means that they have touched one of their siblings, and we send them elsewhere just because we serve primarily the victim in our agencies. But still acknowledging that those children were most likely victims themselves. So we do address that too.
So then after it's good too to have someone with them in the police interview, especially an adolescent, because by the time you reach adolescence, you're either pro or con police. So,
Yes.
Right.
you know, and when you're not by culture pro police, the police interview can be a very defensive process.
Right.
Just
Right.
because it's an us and them kind of mentality.
Yeah, and the police
Without
aren't
the
interviewing
assault.
the child. It's the
A special forensic interviewer. But you
Yeah.
know, just people may have, be uncomfortable with the police. We can be with them to assist them with that and just advocate for them if necessary within the police.
How do you, Liz, how do you see the interagency situation working together?
I think we're,
What, is there a specific plan? Does Central have a plan to?
well, as soon as we,
big plans.
because we're now, we went through the training process already. We still have to finish our exam
Yes.
and then become certified, and then from there, Maria and Amy will come to us and see what days they would be available to come to our agency. And I'm not sure if we're going to pick 1 day or 2 days, and we need to publicize this somehow,
Right.
so others would know where to go.
So through Central, like we would be doing, and I say we.
Yeah.
It's a what?
Well, you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
one of the
yeah.
board members.
The Queen's Wing.
Right.
It means we will do some publication information into the Hispanic.
With
the
Maria,
day.
yeah.
Okay.
Right. So part
Put
of
on some kind of maybe.
Well, I would like also workshops, educational
Yes.
workshops for adults and for children, and
Right.
and she would let us know what type of programs are available through their agency, and then we'll just work together, collaborate together on this.
One of the things that we're doing, and for everyone to know, is that because we operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we can't do this ourselves. So we always need volunteers. And part of the work that we did with El Centro is to train a certain amount of people so they can help us in this area through our hotline. And that's part of the being certified. And then after that, when we hold groups for survivors, that they will be involved as well.
And that number is, the number, what is, you're going to tell me that number?
Yes, it's 860-437-7766.
Yeah, because, okay, and we want to make sure, I want to make sure our viewers write down the address and so that you know where to contact these wonderful people and in dealing with all this stuff. For me, it